Welcome. Namaste, beautiful souls. Today's discussion will be about the Two of Wands. We're going to talk about some very beautiful pip cards, as well as some that have more of elemental correspondences, and then we will look at some heavily illustrated Two of Wands. So welcome back to this series. I am going to carry on and do each of the minor arcana, and then I will intermittently carry on with the major top tarot majors as those are presented in the from Musings with Masha. So today, Two of Wands, and we have some really beautiful cards on the table. I'm going to start with simple. Good morning, Amelia. Namaste. And yeah, so let's look at, so this is Lily White Tarot, New Choice Tarot de Marseille, and the Wild Unknown Tarot. So let's sort of start with these three, maybe with these ones actually. There is a little bit of method to my madness here. Yeah. Twos. What do twos represent? Well, we are one step away from the ace. And the ace is no longer whole. The egg is broken. A little sprout has broken through the seed. Whatever metaphor you want to choose here, this is 2 points. And these 2 points may be connected with a line. And we begin to experience things in parts. There was a time where I had this brilliant idea that the twos in this idea of separation were each of the symbols were half of the ace. And when we got to the 10, we were looking at tenths of the ace. So each of those wands or swords or pentacles had much less energy than their corresponding symbol in the lower cards. And that's kind of a mind-blowing way of looking at all of this. So, you know, there's so many ways we can pick up. Just trying to find some focus here. We can begin to read these cards. We look at the number. I look at the number. And I also contemplate even more so the energy of the element. This is the element of fire. And I don't think I've ever had a different association, another association for wands other than fire. And what is fire? I spoke to that yesterday. It comes deep from within. It is primordial. It is essential to our life. It is our life force energy. It sparks creativity and passion and drive and will. And here in the two, it becomes a little less intense than in the one. And we begin to look at it from a little bit of a distance. This is a card of pause. All of a sudden, we're not whole. All of a sudden, we're separate. And so we stop and we observe and we feel and we respond to that feeling. And it's really an incredible card. I absolutely love this suit. And I mean, how many years have I been reading tarot? A long time, right? At least 25 years. And these kind of reflections just sort of send me into tremendous rabbit holes and ultimately make me really happy. I commented yesterday in my Facebook group about the joy, the pure joy of doing these studies and these deep dives and these reflections and looking at all these cards together. People who don't study the tarot have no idea what they're missing. This is such a great way to start the day. It's a great way just to find some time alone for yourself. And I find that regularly, the more regularly I can be on YouTube, the more regularly I can be, like, I always want to be teaching something about the tarot because it takes me back. It forces me to study. And this is so brilliant. For those of you that use the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, that it is one of the only numbers where all of the twos are on a stage. That creates a perception of separation. That creates perhaps a reflection on, well, which side of the stage am I on? Is this real or is this not real? And I think the twos are a big wake-up call. I was just thinking about the experience of birth. And when we are inside our mother, we are one. And once we are birthed, we are two. And that is a massive shock. So two is, it's a whole new ball game. And it is the beginning of your journey with the suit of fire. Different decks take different approaches to astrology and timing and all of that. And if you use Golden Dawn correspondences, this is the first decan of Aries. This is the beginning of spring. And the element of fire, I forget what tarologist used this metaphor, but I really like the metaphor that the energy, the drive, the force that is necessary with fire helps us to till the earth and helps us to till the earth, to awaken the soil so that we can plant the seed that we received in the ace. Talk yourself through this. It's kind of magical and brilliant. In the Wild Unknown Tarot, the use of color, the use of the rainbow, the use of the chakra colors is really effective, and another added layer. And in this tarot, the two wands, this one here, the two wands come together in a point. It was like we're divining. We hold the rods. There's this point of focus, and it's red on the end. So I'm thinking this is, I'm thinking all kind of root chakra keywords, right? It takes us back to the beginning. It has some deep healing correspondence. And those tips, and it's so interesting because if we look at a Tarot de Marseille, I'm just going to describe it. I'm not going to take the time to pull it out. If you look at an Ace of Wands in a Tarot de Marseille, the top of the wand is wide. You see the feminine energy of the wood, and it goes down into a smaller energy, and you see this connection of masculine and feminine. And what we're looking at here is a little bit wider on the ends and narrower at the tips. And I just think this also is really interesting to look at. So we hold this solid end in our hands. We bring the gentler ends together as a point of focus. And if the spark ignites here, of course, these ends will burn very easily if we're looking at a piece of wood. This is the beginning, right? So root chakra is beginning, and focus is required. We do need to stop and reflect and gather. This is not about charging ahead here. And this is quite a different sort of energy where the wands separate And these two wands create a gateway of possibilities. Love the little stairs that are hidden in this nest of flowers here. I'm probably going to come back to that one. In the Tarot de Marseille, the Two of Wands is not open. It's crossed. It's there's not a lot of wands here. We could easily sneak through. But it is an X. It is a blockage. And there is a lot that is flourishing here around the Two of Wands. In many of the pip cards in the Tarot de Marseille, there are far fewer flowers and ribbons and flourishes here. But it's the growth here is abundant. It is as flourishing as in the Lily White Tarot. And I think this speaks to possibilities. And yet again, we're not going to charge ahead. We are here in reflection. X, stop, think, consider, pause. And that makes me think of, there's a few different decks that have illustrations such as this with a map. And so you see a person, rather than looking at a globe, they're actually looking at a map, and they're planning out, okay, I could go this way, I could go that way. There is potential in every direction, but let me stop and consider what's going on. It's funny, I'm looking at this here and I'm thinking, wow, okay, I am, as I travel, would be a very small dot on that map. And so this is about my relationship with the world as well too. All of the twos, I'm always thinking about reciprocity, so that's always something that's there with me. But this idea of gateways and possibilities is really poignant as well too. And I have this, this is the Shining Tribe Tarot by Rachel Pollack. And when I find myself walking between two trees that seem to form a gateway as I walk through the forest, I often stop and feel the energy between the trees. It's like I'm moving through a portal. And regardless of how this card is drawn, I feel that portal energy, that opening, that sense of possibilities. And this aligns very well with the beginning of spring, first decan of Aries. And, if you run through a door without stopping to sort of see the whole scape, you could get into a great deal of trouble. And so this I think is an important part of this for me, right? This is not an action card. The door is open and we stop and we reflect. Now, fire is going to ignite tremendous passion, and there may be some impatience here, right? We want to get going, but we learn to negotiate how we're going to experience this. I love the use of Mowgli. This is the literary tarot. So Mowgli is sitting up in a tree, looking down at his possibilities and what he's going to do today, what kind of trouble he's going to get into, where is he going to go, or maybe how he's going to find the girl. But he is on high, right? He's up. The perspective is greater when we get higher. We want to get back and we want to look at the whole perspective. We want to see as much of the globe, as much as the map as possible, not get in too close. I just thought of something. So in this card, in the Wild Unknown, where the wands are further apart is the higher frequency. I mean, I love talking about this kind of stuff, but it doesn't resonate with everyone. But higher frequency, where the wands are further apart. If we can learn to know that energy without getting too close in, maybe we can transcend some of the, or move through the challenges more quickly. I don't know, I just need to stop and think about this. Looking energetically at the cards is so helpful for me. And one of my formative decks, for sure, is the Margaret Peterson Tarot. And looking at this card, you may not see anything. I'm going to read you the very short description from this card. This deck, if you don't have it, contains a little white book that is the very best little white book ever. I'll just read you a little bit from the fire element, and then I'll go to the Two of Wands. Fire is dynamic, expansive, wild, destructive, and cleansing. The flame also stands for heat, enlightenment, maturity, and the growth process. Good morning, Perry. So, skipping over to the Two of Wands and the very potent words of Margaret Peterson. The fire of intimacy, alliance, two forces joining, both retain their own specific field, yet experience themselves as part of a greater whole. An electrifying web made of threads of light join the blue fire of the moon and the hot yellow-red light of the sun. Excuse me. You are the eye going beyond its limits, powerfully yet gently connecting to that which lives outside of your limitations. And maybe this is what I was feeling in this Wild Unknown card, is that we experience the intensity and the focus where the tips come together, and that yet with that space in the lower high frequency between the ends of the wands, we know we are part of something greater, and yet we need to navigate through the red, orange, yellow first. This is beginnings of relationships. This is in the intensity and the passion and the just that. It's so happy. It's such a happy card, where we feel so optimistic at the beginning of anything, really. I really, really like this card. This card, I mean, by the Two of Wands. So much possibility. And we get that sense of the energy of relationship. This is the Wee Moon Tarot. And we can see that force field that is created. So the two people separate, and yet they are one, held within the container of the heart. Hello, Saskia. Namaste. And Perry, just so you know, now I haven't said your name in a long time, but Harv's name is Emilia. Yeah, I hope that's okay to share that, Amelia. So this, we are separate, but yet we are one. We are separate, but we are one. And so how do we apply the separate, but we are one concept? We are separate, but we are one, looking at something like this. Or Mowgli here up in the tree, or the young fellow standing inside the castle looking out to the world in the Waite Smith. Well, I think it has to do with perspective. And we sometimes feel like we are insignificant. We are separate from the greatness of this vast world, but yet we are one with it. And that's where I do my best to never lose this concept of reciprocity in the Two of Wands. Looking at the different relationships that could possibly be coming forth as a response to the question when this card arises in a reading. Okay, so I want to go just check through all of these cards. So we have Wee Moon, Tarot, Margaret Peterson, Wild Unknown, Lily White. This is the Tarot Arthurian, New Choice Tarot de Marseille, Literary Tarot, Shining Tribe, and this is the Margaret Peterson Tarot. And here we have the roots of the trees are intertwined, the branches of the two trees overhead are intertwined, and yet they create a gateway. And the darkness here, the darkness represents the unknown. It is the abyss. And it's interesting if you look at the literary tarot card and this card simultaneously, the darkness is reversed. It's like Mowgli is looking into the light, where here in the Marielle Tarot, the two trees are the light. The portal itself is the light that is opening the door into the darkness, that which we are about to explore. And that would make sense in terms of the red color here, right? We're going to go through the red. We're going to go through the lower frequencies of the red and orange before we get to the higher frequencies. We don't really have a choice, right? We need to navigate the different we can't bypass the pain, sort of thing. Our perspective of it can change, but we need to go through it, and we need to go through it bravely and boldly. And this, of course, is can I say this is the great vagina card as well too. And once you look at it in that way, it is deeply connected to the energy of a card such as this or this, where we're looking at the Two of Wands as great passion in a relationship, and how we are drawn into relationship, and fire being that sort of first chemistry that arises in relationship. And I like the idea of Mowgli here as well too, as a young person. So Two of Wands is often, right, it's new, it's young, it's fresh. At least you feel that way energetically. Okay. So a few thoughts on the Two of Wands. Let me pick my top 5 Two of Wands from this selection of cards. And of course, there could be many, many others. I have a large library of decks. And that's going to be kind of hard today. It really is. Because I relate so much to all of these cards. Like I can feel myself here. And usually my hands would be out this way. And, my hands are very active, feeling my way through the portal. Yeah. Wow. So, honestly, how does one pick a top 5? Seriously. I don't know. For me, the best part of doing this series is just going through all of my decks and taking time to reflect on what I've learned about this card and what this card means to me. Yeah. I kind of like this Mowgli card because it brings in that idea of perspective. So, yeah, I'm going to choose these 5. I mean, yeah. All right, so let's Shining Tribe, The Wild Unknown, Marielle, Literary, and We Moon Tarot. Let's read Perry's comment. Change is inevitable and is also a resource for avoiding stagnation and being complacent or uninvolved in a life with a variety of ways that are passionate and creative. Thank you for that, Perry. All right. Well, I will be back tomorrow with the 3 of Wands, and I look forward to seeing you then. Take good care of yourselves. Namaste.